We often make the mistake of measuring spiritual growth by our feelings. We assume that if we feel close to God, if we feel peaceful, or if we feel on fire for our faith, we are growing. Conversely, when we feel dry, bored, or distracted, we assume we are stagnating or backsliding. But spiritual maturity is not a mood. It is not an emotional state that stays constant. It is a slow, often invisible process of deep root development. If you've ever felt like you're not making progress, or if you feel like your faith has become mundane, consider this. Growth is happening under the surface. Here are 10 signs that you are growing spiritually, even when your emotions tell you otherwise. 1. You are more aware of your imperfections. The irony of spiritual growth is that the closer you get to the light, the more you see the dust in the room. When you first start a journey of faith, you might feel like you're doing well. As you grow, you begin to notice attitudes, patterns, and subtle heart issues you never saw before. The sign: you aren't getting worse, you are gaining clarity. Spiritual growth involves a sharpening of the conscience. If you feel more humble about your own shortcomings, you are further along than someone who believes they have arrived. 2. You are less concerned with what others think. In the early stages of faith, we often perform for our peers, our family, or our church community. We want to be seen as spiritual. As you mature, the weight of needing to impress other people begins to lift. The sign: you find yourself making decisions based on your conviction and your relationship with God, rather than social validation. You no longer need to prove your faith to anyone. You are finally comfortable being known by God, rather than being applauded by people. 3. Your prayer life has become raw. You might think that growing spiritually means having more elaborate, eloquent, or powerful prayers. In reality, it often means the opposite. The most mature prayers are the simplest and the most honest. The sign: you have stopped trying to use religious language. If you are comfortable telling God that you are angry, confused, or bored, you are actually more spiritually mature than you were when you were trying to say the right things. Authenticity is the highest form of intimacy. 4. You are more likely to forgive. One of the most difficult things to do as a human is to release the debt someone owes you for hurting you. In our natural state, we cling to our right to be offended. The sign: you notice that your offense reflex has slowed down. You find it easier to let go of grudges because you have a deeper, visceral grasp of the grace you have received yourself. You aren't forgiving people because they deserve it. You are forgiving because you are becoming the kind of person who reflects the character of God. 5. You find joy in hidden service. When you are growing, your desire for recognition begins to diminish. You don't need the spotlight to feel like you are contributing. The sign: you find yourself doing things for others that no one will ever thank you for, and you don't care. You are becoming satisfied with the reward of the action itself rather than the reward of the praise. This is the hallmark of someone who is motivated by love rather than ego. 6. You are less triggered by trials. Early in our journey, we view challenges as punishments or interruptions. We complain, we panic, and we ask, "Why me?" As you grow, your perspective on the furnace of affliction changes. The sign: when problems arise, your first instinct is no longer to ask why, but to ask how. How can I grow from this? How can I remain faithful here? You are becoming unshakable, not because life has become easier, but because your foundation has become deeper. 7. You are more empathetic to the broken. Legalistic and shallow faith breeds judgment. It creates a hierarchy of who is right and who is wrong. Deep, mature faith, however, breeds profound empathy. The sign: you find yourself drawn to people who are struggling, messy, or socially marginalized. You are less interested in debating theology and more interested in sitting with people in their pain. When you find your heart breaking for the things that break God's heart, you are undoubtedly growing. 8. Your discipline has become desire. There is a massive difference between doing the right thing because you have to and doing it because you want to. The sign: you find that the spiritual disciplines, reading scripture, reflection, solitude, are no longer tasks on a to-do list. They have become cravings. You miss them when you don't have them. This transition from duty to delight is a clear indicator that your heart has been transformed from the inside out. 9. You handle success without pride. It is easy to be humble when you are failing. It is much harder to be humble when you are succeeding. The sign: when things go well for you, you are quick to credit others and acknowledge the providence of God. You don't view your achievements as evidence of your superiority. You understand that your talents, your opportunities, and your outcomes are stewards' responsibilities, not personal trophies. 10. You are content in the waiting. Perhaps the greatest sign of maturity is the ability to wait on God without trying to force the outcome. We are a generation of fixers. We want to solve our problems, finalize our futures, and clear our calendars. The sign. You have a growing ability to be still. You can trust that even if your current season is not what you wanted, it is where you are supposed to be. You have learned that God is as much at work in the waiting room as he is in the victory lap. Why you don't feel like you're growing. If you read this list and still don't feel like you are growing, remember the principle of the tree. The fastest growth in a tree often happens underground in the root system, where it is completely invisible to the observer. Spiritual maturity is not about hitting a certain high note of intensity. It is about becoming a more stable, more gracious, and more honest person over time. If you are more patient today than you were last year, if you are more honest about your faults, and if you are more focused on others than yourself, you are moving forward, even if your emotions are currently silent.